Hello, and welcome to my character development arc.
Now, at this point of the time that I was making the video, I was sitting at around 2.75 I rating in D class, and my entire goal was to make it out of D class into C. This is more or less how it went. Race number one, we're in the BMW M2 CS car, and we all know how that goes. Typically, great. CSs are so fun to drive, but the other drivers usually on track are not quite always the greatest. So sometimes the experience can be a little mixed, but I tend to enjoy the M2 CS a lot because it's very technical. You got to be good with your feet. You got to be good with on the pedals. Car is very hard to underdrive and very easy to overdrive. It's very torquey and it doesn't have a lot of downforce. So unfortunately, the back end likes to come out and get out from under you. But getting another position, lap one or end of lap one, start of lap two, turn one. I think I did quite nice there, going up the inside, taking that position. Another guy there, off the side of the road, getting another position for free. Not exactly sure what happened with that guy, but skipping forwards, now lap five, and I'm still sitting in fifth, having a good old time keeping up with Filip Safarsik until this little spin right here. Thankfully, there was no damage. Looking at my delta, see that there's one guy coming up really fast, so I got out to the outside of the track to get out of the driving line and not cause a crash. But nonetheless, we're back in it. No damage. Coming back out. We end up actually back in sixth from seventh place, which I did not expect, but it's all good, and we move on to the next. Now, time for race two. And in the last race, actually, I didn't actually go up or go down on iRating. More or less kind of stayed the same. But back in the BMW M2 CS. And this time we're at the 24 Hours of Le Mans circuit. This is a fun one. Pay attention to that red car right there. Pay attention to that red BMW right behind me. Mr. Alfie Clark Davis, the number 5 BMW, because this guy is something else. But it was actually a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed this one. Now, look at Mr. Alfie Clark Davis here. You see him just absolutely shoot the inside. Gave me a nice little Brazilian bump and run. This guy would actually turn out to be quite a problem later on in the race, and he he played hard blocking. He was going left, right, wouldn't pick a lane. I eventually actually cut a little too much and ended up getting a black flag for it, so I had to go through the pits and sit in the pits for 41 seconds, which freaking sucked. It sucked. That's about as well as I can explain that. But I mean, that's racing. I was cutting corners a little too much by accident. Some not by accident, just trying to gain time. Um, but it is what it is. It's whatever. I don't mind. As long as I get a good I rating out of it, you know, even if I don't get the season points. But look at here. We skip forward. We get to the end, and for a couple seconds, I contemplated just waiting in the pits, which honestly I should have because everyone was well over the halfway mark now, and they were going to get only closer and closer to us. But nonetheless, my caveman brain takes over, and I decide to come out of the pits and do the final lap, which was the biggest mistake of my life. Not really. That was a lie. It's not the biggest mistake of my life, but it sucked. I had to do an entire lap again by myself, 4.5 minutes extra, when I could have just let everybody pass and have been done much sooner than everybody. or at the same time as everybody. Either way. Come to the end, race 2 is over. Okay, let's start off with race number 3. Hopefully this race goes a lot better. And it did. It went a whole lot better. Now, I went up 0.1 I rating, which is good. And I'm now sitting at 1.3K safety rating, which is better than what I was. So starting, race 3, I had high expectations of myself, and I think I pretty well accomplished that. Now, going into turn 1, I decided I'm going to play it a little safe, so I let this yellow BMW through, the 9 car, and all's well that ends well. No crash, no incidents, nothing. I don't know what turn that is, turn 2 or 3? I think that's turn 3. Turn 3, I decided to block the inside. Later on, lap 6, I finally get ahead of the number 9 car, and I think he bumped me just a little bit and unsettled himself and ended up going into the wall. Unfortunate for him. But fast forwarding a little more to lap 8, I get past the number 4 car here, who is a lap behind, and he graciously lets me through. Give him a good old thank you. And now comes the hunt for 3rd place and up. This is where I really got to be on top of things. So speeding up, speeding forward, I finally catch up to the group. Sitting behind 3rd place. Looks like 3rd place and 2nd place ended up trading positions. Trying to stay in this draft. But in the BMW M2 CSs, there really is no draft at all. These cars do not draft. They're horrible at it. It's also mostly because they have no rear wing, so they're very, very much entry and exit dependent. Now, on entry here, I fucked up, locked up my brakes. I went in a little hard. So respectfully, I gave bro the position back. Didn't mean to go into the side of him, and he did nothing to me that warranted that, nor should it ever be something that people just do. But I decided, we're right before the last turn. I'm not gonna screw bro over and crash him out of the race and take the position like that. Nonetheless, moving forward to race 4. Now, that last race actually ended up getting me the 2.98 I rating, which is just below where I want to be before the season ends if I want to rank up to Class D, or Class C, from Class D. So, starting the 4th race, again in the BMWs. I actually did a decent qualifying, so I started in 4th place, I believe, and immediately jumped my way to 2nd place with the inside line. Now, fast forwarding a little bit, nothing too exciting happens during this portion of the race. It was really me just trying to keep up and stay with the number 2 car and stay in 2nd place, and hopefully me and him can get away from the rest of the pack, which we slowly start to do. And finally up onto the white flag, he gets a much better run than me out of this turn, but luckily, because you have to slow down so much for this turn, I can get a better entry into this. And unfortunately, I don't get a better entry or exit out of it, so he gets to keep his position, but I don't think I would have made it anyways. Regardless, I only ended with 2x, incident points, so that's good. And we move on. Now, finally, the 5th race that will hopefully put me in front. And now I finally sit at a 3.5 I rating. And I'm not gonna lie, I was starting to get greedy at this point, and I was trying to aim for the 4.0 promotion. And I ended up deciding to do the qualifying for this rain race, for Rain Masters, and this is how it went. Now, just as I thought everything was going great, nope. Abnormal lap, invalid, and that's because I ended up actually touching the wall a little bit during my qualifying lap. Either way, I mean, we're in the race now, starting off in 11th. I don't think I honestly could have started off any worse, but here we go. We're making the best out of it. Pretty confident that I'm pretty good at driving in the rain. I wouldn't say I'm the best, but I wouldn't say, you know, I wouldn't say I'm bad at it, but I wouldn't say I'm great at it. Either way, get a little decent little exit at the start here. Started in the middle of the last chicanes there, right before the straight, and I'm getting sprayed up coming into turn 1. I decided to kind of, shift down a little extra because I figured maybe someone might try to dive in, or they might be going too fast and lock up and end up sliding in, but nobody did. So I pushed out of that corner a little bit and gained a position out of it, And throughout this race, I was trying my very, very best to stay out of the dry line. Because like you can see right here, he in front of me almost slid out a little bit. And I think it's because of that dry line, just crossing from the dry line to the wet line. And this corner was especially tricky because you have to go in through the dry line in order to turn into the corner. But once you do, and you get back out into the wet line, the car wants to rotate in more. So you got to be careful through there. The rest of the track is basically just kind of stay in the middle, stay like a third in the dry line and 2/3 into the wet line is more or less how I went about it and how I assessed it. But coming in from the straight into the first set of chicanes, I think this is the PlayStation chicane if I'm not wrong. Coming into the first set of chicanes, I get past the number 6 car behind me, and I think I did a really, really good job. He's in the Ferrari and I'm in the McLaren 750S. It's a very fun car to drive. I love McLarens. They're very well balanced. They're quick, very stable around corners. Just great overall cars. I know, the FRs, the front engine cars, probably a little more favored on iRacing than mid-engine cars, but it is what it is. Almost get a little bit of a slip there from going a little too deep to the inside, and all is well though. I maintain the car, keep it in one piece. This number 6 car ends up kind of staying to my side for a little bit. Me and him kind of have this little tug and pull, with the side draft. I consistently keep the inside line through a lot of these chicanes and a lot of these high speed to low speed, half hairpin corners like this one. The number 14 car there, sending it just a little bit wide. And I didn't realize it, but we actually end up gaining a position because the number 5 car, I believe, something happens to him. I think he crashes or something like that, or slides out and gets damaged and ends up towing out. And I think he ended up just quitting or something. But right here, I end up actually braking a little early for safety. I don't want to be, too reckless coming into these very high speed to low speed turns. And I'm not sure exactly what happens with the number 14 car there. I think he might have locked up a little bit and started going sideways, but position gain for us up into 7th place now. Quite happy. Not sure exactly what. Oh, there he is, the number 5 car. He spun out and he went to pits, which gave us free position, which we always love. Never will complain about a free position. Now coming into the main straight, the end of lap 1, starting lap 2, we're gonna speed forward a little bit to get right into the back stretch. And right here, I kind of start losing it a little bit, and I lost it completely. and I managed to somehow straighten the car back out without running into the wall or anything. And I lose a position, but the car's intact, so I'm happy. Now, fast forwarding some more. Finally going down about 2/3 of the way down the back stretches, and I lose control again, trying to push, and somehow still manage to keep the car straight and out of the wall. I'm not sure exactly how, but I remain in 7th place. The only problem is now is that the 6th place guy, the number 6 car, is, he's leaving me behind, and the back group is starting to catch up. And you can actually see that number 12 car trying to draft, but I think he didn't want to stay in the spray, so he went to the outside. And I managed to, hold the inside line and keep him at bay, keep my position. And I end up getting a better exit than him because I'm on the wet line instead of the dry line, and he on the outside. You're on the dry line, it's going to be a little more slick than the wet line, so due to all the rubber, grease, oil, whatever you want to call it, that's on the track, more specifically the rubber, all the rubber that sticks from the dry line, that's usually the faster line when it's dry out, ends up being the most slick line in the wet, so you really want to avoid it. And as long as you can avoid the dry line, you can stay pretty fast, but coming up to the end of the last lap, on the white flag lap, get a little bit of looseness there on the rear end on entry, but I hold it, and race finished. Another beautiful race in Le Mans. I finished 6th with only 4 incident points, and I am happy. And with the end of that, I ended up at 3.62 I rating, which isn't exactly where I wanted to be, but that's okay. For now, I think promotion is coming. And with that, this has been another video, and thank you so much to everyone for watching. Catch you on the next one.